Hello children and young people. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to get yourself into a healthier way of eating. This is super important. Your brain needs all the nutritional power it can get. Your body needs it so that it's able to grow. But if you are someone who doesn't actually like fruit and vegetables very much, you don't really enjoy healthy food, then just keep on watching, because I'm going to tell you how to change your thinking around that and actually how to start enjoying those things. Just keep on watching. Alright, firstly, let's talk about why it is you don't like the healthy stuff. There's a few reasons, actually. One of the key ones is that once upon a time when you were a tiny little baby, most children go through a phase of becoming super suspicious about food, particularly brightly coloured stuff. And it's as if there's a part of your brain that goes, danger, it might be poisonous, when in reality, quite a lot of the super healthy stuff that you should be eating is bright and colourful. So it's really easy for children when they're growing from toddlers into, more of a child, not toddlering anymore, to start enjoying stuff that's a bit beige, like bread, potato, yoghurt. Or super sugary stuff. Who out here in listener land is a sugar addict? I know some of you are. I a little bit am myself. And again, it comes down to reasons from actually way back, way before you were a toddler. This is more like in our ancestry, when people couldn't get hold of food as easily as we can now. It was really important for us to get sugary stuff to make sure that we had some stores of energy, and fatty stuff to make sure that we had stores of energy just in case we didn't get a dinner the next day. Now, we don't really have that problem anymore, but we still inherit from our parents and our grandparents and our grandparents, and way back, this need for sugary foods and fatty foods, because some part of our brain that's really, really historic and old still thinks that we need to have those sorts of food, when actually they're not so good for us, and we certainly don't need them as much as we think we do. So here's what we need to start doing. We need to start changing the way that you think about food so that you can enjoy more of the healthy stuff. Now, there's a big difference between eating something because you know it's the right thing to do, but secretly hating it, and actually eating it because it's all right or you really love it. And where I want you to get to is a place where you really love the right stuff, and that you would choose the right stuff over the wrong stuff. Okay, so this isn't about forcing you to have things that you don't like and don't want, but it is about getting you into a place where you are a bit more curious and you're going to explore a little bit. You're going to be willing to try, test things out, give it a go, and even go back to it if you didn't like it the first time around. So here's how we're going to do that. Again, going back to when you were a tiny little baby and you were going through a stage called weaning. That's when you switch from only having milk to starting to have like normal food as well, solid food. When babies go through that phase, they don't just eat the food. They really get that food into a very sensory experience. Like, they experience it through every single one of their 5 senses. They look at it, they sniff it, they smash it, see what it sounds like, they obviously taste it, and they get it absolutely everywhere. They feel it over their whole body and even in their hair. So they're really good at exploring food, and that's what typically gets them out of that phase of, oh, I don't like it, to actually moving on and starting to really enjoy food. Now, some children kind of miss out on that phase for lots of different reasons. Some children miss out on that phase because they had really busy parents, or they had parents who were like super clean freaks and didn't let you get like spaghetti bolognese in your hair, all sorts of different reasons. But actually being able to play with food as a baby is a really good way to get you comfortable with food as you're growing up. And some children now even have what we would call a food phobia, where it's like you could hold an apple up and they will freak out because they just hate it so much. They don't want it anywhere near them. Hopefully it's not as severe as that for any of you, but it might be. And it's important to be able to overcome those sorts of worries and fears around food so that it's something you can actually enjoy. So the ways in which you can begin to enjoy food now that you're no longer a toddler or a baby is in a few different ways. So firstly, I'm going to give you a couple of little challenges. Number one is it's a really good time of year to start growing stuff, even if it's something simple like cress that you end up putting in a sandwich, or maybe Dad has been chopping carrots and so you've got like the tops of the carrots left over. You can actually grow a whole new carrot just from using the top of the carrot, you know, where it's got the brown stumpy bit on, or the bottom of the lettuce. You know, you can put that in a glass of water and it will sprout a whole new lettuce. So you don't have to have lots of money to be able to grow your own food. You can actually just use some of the food that perhaps is already in your fridge and see what you can get seeds from, like maybe some peppers or tomatoes, and have a go at growing stuff. That's a really good way to start experimenting with food. Another thing that you can do is think about all the different ways in which you can perhaps cook or prepare a food and get super creative about it. So for example, let's say that you hate strawberries. You hate them, but it would be really good, and you know it would be really good for you if you could learn to love them. So what you might need to do is find ways to bring strawberries into your life that you can enjoy. Perhaps just biting into one didn't do it for you, and that's fair enough. But have you ever melted down some chocolate and dipped a strawberry in it and then popped it in the fridge so that the chocolate goes hard, completely hard around the strawberry? I am making myself hungry talking about this. I honestly am. Have you ever smushed up a strawberry and just had it like a thick, gloopy mess, or frozen it so it becomes like a sorbet, or made your own strawberry milkshake, or put it in a smoothie, or sliced it up and put it in the oven on a very low heat with the help of an adult so that it dries out and then you have dried crunchy strawberry instead. There's loads of different ways for you to be able to eat loads of different foods, and just because you didn't like it one way once upon a time doesn't mean that you won't like it if you have it in another way or mixed in with some other stuff. So there's loads of different ways that you can cook, prepare, eat and enjoy all sorts of different foods. So I want you to start getting creative. Maybe see if you can come up with 7 different ways to eat a strawberry, or whatever food it is that you would like to have instead of a strawberry. Now, I could of course go on and on and on about how it is that having the right food is important for brain power. It's important for your body to be able to grow. It's important for social reasons because it makes it an awful lot easier for when you go to friends' houses for sleepovers or out for dinner to just be able to eat what's there and not be so fussy about it. There's lots of different reasons why being able to eat healthy food is good for you, but probably the main one is that it gets you into a good habit for when you are an adult, because let's be honest, there's a lot of things that you can get away with as a child. You could probably live off bread and yogurt until you're about 15. Then after that, it's going to start going bad for you. And suddenly you're going to have to really start thinking about eating other stuff in order for your body to work properly. Like, it will actually start to affect you in negative ways. Some children even experience that a little bit earlier on, like you might start getting problems going to the loo, or you might not have enough energy throughout the day and find yourself getting really tired and grumpy. So there's lots and lots of reasons why being able to eat a good diet now is good for you later on when you're an adult, so that you're in those good habits already. But actually it might even be really important for you to do this right now and not keep putting off learning how to enjoy good food until you're much older. Like, the sooner you can do it, the better, and the more easy it will start to make your life. But the important thing is that when you first start having new things or having them in new ways, you might not like it. I cannot promise you that the very first time you eat an apple, having only ever had an apple when you were 2.5, that you're going to love it. Chances are you might not. In fact, let me tell you a story. I used to hate olives, and there's a reason for this. Once upon a time I was at a wedding and I saw a little pastry of vol au vent which was filled up with prawn cocktail, which I love, and it appeared to have a grape on the top. Now, I was young enough to be able to help myself to the food, but I was also not old enough to know what an olive was. I'd never come across them before, so I saw this green thing and I thought it was a grape, and I like grapes. So I took the pastry and I ate it, and then I left my grape until last, at which point I discovered it was an olive. Now, these days, most young people have come into contact with olives already, but when I was growing up, you didn't see olives very much. Like, people just didn't really have them in their diet as much as they do now. But when I had this olive, it was salty. It was just the absolute opposite to what a grape tastes like, which is sweet and sugary and lovely. So instantly I decided I hate olives, and that stuck with me for about 25 years, if not longer. It was a long time of knowing that I hated olives, and I did a couple of times test it just to make sure I still hated them, and I still did. However, I went on a holiday and there were olives everywhere. Everywhere. There were olives out for breakfast, there were olives for lunch, there were olives with the dinner, and I realised that this was going to be a really difficult holiday to get through if I was going to be so fussy about olives. But the other thing was that they were becoming so fashionable and people were eating them so much, it was becoming a bit of a pain that I didn't like them, and I wanted to be able to like them. And this is where you need to get to. It's okay to say I don't like it, but the next stage is to get to a place in your head where you think, but I want to be able to like it. It would be easier, it would make my life easier if I liked that thing. And this is when what I'm going to tell you next can actually work for you. So what I decided to do was I decided to get used to olives. So I started off every day eating 2 olives first thing in the morning to get it out the way, and it gradually built up to 3 olives, and this was all over the course of a holiday, which was maybe 10 days, 2 weeks on holiday in Turkey, where every day I got to try out olives and test them out. Now, I will say that I did not do well with the black olives in the beginning, but every day I ate some green olives. And eventually I built it up to every meal I ate some green olives, so that by the end of the holiday, eating olives was just normal. I certainly didn't hate them anymore. I don't think I loved them yet, but it was as if my brain learnt to accept them. And now I do genuinely eat olives every single day, and I miss them if I don't have them. So my brain has completely transformed the way it thought about olives. But it took perseverance. It took a lot of pushing myself and convincing myself and keeping going on a small level to begin with and building it up over time to be able to get to a place where I didn't just put up with olives, but I could actually enjoy them as well. And you can do the same thing for any food that you dislike, especially if it's a healthy food, and it would really help you out and change your life to be able to grow to like it. So make sure that you are being open-minded, and by that I mean you don't have to like it, but you would like to be able to like it. You'd like to get to the stage where you can put up with it at least, and then you can start bringing it into your diet with a slow, gradual few steps in the right direction. So I want to know from you in the comments box down below, what foods do you absolutely hate? What foods can you definitely not live without? And which ones are you willing to, you know, give them a bit of a try, even though they haven't been your favourite in the past. Now, the really good news is that in NLP for Kids, we've actually got some ways to really quickly help people overcome foods that they like too much and need to get out of their diet because it's really not very good for them. So if you eat 6 bags of crisps a day, then this is one that's handy for you. And we've also got some really quick techniques that we use to help you like food that you currently do not like. So if you would like some extra help with all of this, then you can always reach out to one of the NLP for Kids practitioners and find out what they can do to help you to change your diet into a healthier diet. So leave me comments in the comments box below. Let me know what food you absolutely hate, what food you absolutely love and cannot live without. All right, give it a go. Give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. If it's been helpful to you in some way, shape or form, subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already, and make sure you click the notifications bell so that you get notified the next time I upload a video like this. But for now, thank you all so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!